Hey, what's going on, everybody? Veedotme here. If you're here, then you know that we post a lot of stuff about dead cells, mostly guides and full runs. But today we have something a little different planned. I've been getting a lot of questions in YouTube comments. One cool thing to do is to just go through some of the questions, and I think at this point we have enough to do sort of like a Q&A. Of course, I do get all kinds of questions on every single video. I'm not going to go over all of them in this one video, but just the ones that seem to pop up pretty often are the ones that I will go over. That being said, I do read every comment for every video. I don't necessarily comment on all of them, but I definitely do appreciate the feedback from all of you. And hey, if you see a question that you happen to post yourself, let us know in the comments that that's you. A little shout out to yourself. That being said, let's go ahead and get started.
Can I acquire next stem cell if I finish a running custom mode? Or maybe some blueprint?
Yeah, so custom mode, you're actually able to unlock everything. Blueprints, weapons, skins, your next boss cells, any of that. All of it's available in custom mode. The only thing that custom mode locks you out of is achievements. So if you want that platinum trophy, you do need to have certain things turned on and a certain number of weapons in your run in order to get the achievements for it, but you will not be locked out of any of the other rewards.
How does he get an amulet at the beginning of the run? Is it a blueprint or something?
So after 0 BC, and it could be after getting the recycling tubes, which is going to be a question later, every run will have an amulet at the start of the run. The idea is that it's going to give you base stats that make you a little stronger than just the base character. That was a change when they sort of tried to rebalance all of the scrolls and power level throughout the game. This makes it so that you don't have just the standard 100 HP trying to go through prison quarters. You should be a little stronger and be able to tank a few more hits.
From where do you get your viewer builds? I never see one in the comments.
This is a question that comes up every now and then. For those who don't know, I stream twitch.tv/Veedotme. We actually have channel points that people receive from just watching the stream, and viewers are using those channel points to submit builds that get added to the queue. If you want to submit your own build, I don't really take them from YouTube, but you're more than welcome to watch the Twitch streams and submit a build there.
Bought the Hunter's Mirror, but I still don't know what it can do. Can someone explain me its use?
The Hunter Mirror, which is right next to the stats in PC, as soon as you load into the game, will show you a monster that has a blueprint that you do not have. That is to say, if you are collecting blueprints and you haven't unlocked the blueprint yet using cells, it will not show you that monster. It does show you monsters that have skins as well, and the goal is to give you an objective on the monster to go and fight. Easily, you can grab the Hunter's Grenade and go find the monster and use it there. If you get the blueprint and you turn it into the collector, then you'll be able to get a new monster in the mirror until you run out of blueprints to obtain.
Do you know when this will be live for consoles?
Okay, I just threw this one in here because, to be honest, the person who posted it was just making a joke too. So I personally do not know when any updates will be live for either console or mobile. When it comes to mobile, I just keep track of Play Digits on Twitter. When it comes to console, I just follow Motion Twin on Twitter as well. And there's Dead Cells Reddit that posts all of the updates like pretty much in time as they come down the line.
How to climb like that?
So this is in reference to doing wall climbing. I actually have a Twitch clip that kind of shows an exact tutorial of how I do it. To show you, on the PlayStation 4 DualSense controller, we are holding towards the wall. We're gonna press X to go up the wall, and then I'm gonna press square after that. Now, during that square button, I need to press X again. And that's it. Some weapons are so good you don't even have to jump. It'll actually like send you upward just by pressing square. But because this weapon's kind of slow, I have to press both. I'm not doing it at the same time. I'm doing one after the other.
I want to ask, does anyone know how to get that weapon generator thing?
So this is in reference to the recycling tubes. This appears in prison quarters. It's right after the boss cell tube as well as the skins. It's right before you find any monster in the game. The recycling tubes is a blueprint that drops from Hand of the King, and it appears at 1 BC. The recycling tubes has different sets of equipment in it. It will always give you a melee weapon if available, a ranged weapon if available, a shield if available, and 2 skills. You can also see which items have starred affixes, so sometimes when I'm choosing what loadout to start with, I'm looking at what has the most amount of stars, what has the most amount of same color weapons, and then what is basically fun factor. So make sure that you beat Hand of the King on 1 BC. I know that's a forehead, but that's how you get the recycling tubes.
Could someone explain to me why having item in the backpack at all besides saving it for later?
So when you think about the backpack, and this kind of goes into a lot of different backpack questions that I get, the backpack itself can be thought of as storage from the start. Obviously, you see a cool item, you don't want to just sell it because you might get something that goes with it later. You put the item in your backpack and then you play as normal. Outside of that, we have mutations in the game that use your backpack an advantage. The first one, Porcupack, works with melee weapons. If you roll through an enemy, it does a melee attack. The second one, Acrobatic Pack, fires a missile from your backpack for whatever your ranged weapon is whenever you used a ranged attack. In order to do it, you just do a dodge roll. You'll see the character do a special glow that shows you have prepped up the Acrobatic Pack. And then the next time you shoot, you will fire a bullet from the backpack along with your normal attack. And then finally, Armadillo Pack will do a parry out of your backpack with whatever shield you're using in the backpack. No other requirements. As long as you do a dodge roll and an attack is on the character, it will parry it. It will also parry anything you roll through, such as bombs that are already on the floor.
Do you have a stream schedule?
Yes, actually. We've been streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we've been doing Saturday streams as well, 1 p.m. Eastern.
Is this man on PS4?
No, and I know it probably looks like I am, but I'm actually playing the Steam version on PC. I've gotten some questions about how to set your controller to look like PS4 instead of Xbox when you're on Steam. The only thing I can say that might help out, I'm not sure if this is like the fix, when you go to Steam, you click on settings. In settings, you go to controller. Controller goes to general controller settings. This sort of big picture mode pop-up appears, and I have PlayStation configuration support clicked on. That works for me. There might be some additional steps if it does not work for you, but I'm hoping it does.
Why does your assault shield make you move so fast? When I use the block, I don't move half as fast.
So this is a very common question. A lot of speedrunners use this. Whether it's good for standard gameplay or not, I can't really say, but it feels good whenever I do it. This is also another Twitch clip, so I'm gonna let this play, and it has the full tutorial on how to do it. Make some space. All right. So the way how this is done, standard dodge is my circle button, which looks like that. And then the standard assault shield is my triangle button, which looks like that. So the way how we do this dash is we're actually gonna roll from triangle to circle. So it's gonna be like that kind of motion. And when you do it, you can automatically tell that you did it correctly. If you press it at the same time, it's sometimes a little inconsistent.
Why would you want to have a double red or purple amulet on a survival build?
So this question comes up a lot, and I really hope it's not confusing too many of the viewers, but we have been trying some experimentation in order to get a higher scroll count later, where you leave prison quarters with a certain color, and then the game would think that it needs to supplement your other colors in the dual scrolls. Because we're telling the game that we want red, it's gonna give us green in a survival build ultimately at the end of the game. So we'll ultimately have more green than we would have, but I have no guarantee that that works. I don't have the formula, I don't have the data to go behind it. It's just something that we do for fun, and if I get more scrolls later in the game, then maybe it works. If not, then really no harm done, except a question in the YouTube comments.
Is there something I'm missing with dual binding? Whenever I try it, the animations just end up cancelling each other and nothing comes out.
Okay, so dual binding is something that honestly could go into its own video. The short answer here is that weapons will come out depending on how fast they are. Some weapons have a long attack speed, and it doesn't really allow for other attacks to come out if they're on the same button. The easiest example to show dual binding is with a throwing weapon, such as Firebrand or the kunai, the throwing knife. With those, as long as it's in the front-facing weapon, the left-hand side weapon, it will usually fire that out first. In fact, the way how the game plays through dual binding is it plays the equipment from left to right. So if you put two things on your square button, whichever weapon is on the left comes out first, and the one on the right comes out after, if it can. Some weapons have really intense combos to them, where if you're spamming square, the other attack won't come out because you're still doing the combo of the first one. Back in the day, we used to dual bind the same weapon, such as Valmont Whip and Blood Sword. That way, if you're using two Valmont Whips, it almost looks like you have a higher attack speed because you're basically queuing up the next Valmont Whip after the first one. Of course, if you find a legendary weapon, you can still do that, but typically whenever you see me doing a dual binding, it's probably a thrown weapon in the front. Think Ice Shards, think Boyax, think Molotov, and then a regular melee weapon in the second slot. Or it could be something like Hokuto's bow, where you shoot the arrow first and then do your normal marksman or alchemic carbine after that. Really, there's just experimentation here. Just give it a try, see what happens, and then turn it off if it doesn't feel right.
What is Chantai? Shantai? Shante?
Okay, so I did have to throw this one in as a good one to end the video on. So I used to have nicknames for a lot of stuff in the game, be it weapons, monsters, stuff like that. And I still have one that I just can't get over, and that's calling the librarian monster as Shante. For those who do not know what that is, Shantae, which is spelled S-H-A-N-T-A-E, is a game from the developer WayForward. It's a game about a genie, or I guess a half genie, if that's what it properly is. And the joke is that because the librarian monster is flying around on a book, sort of like a magic carpet, then I'm just affectionately calling it Shantae, because that's a genie, and it happens to be a game that at least I thought was popular. Maybe it's not quite as popular as I thought, since I keep getting asked about it, but have I played these games? No. But would that stop me from making the joke? Probably not. So I'm still doing it. Alright, so at this point, my scroll bar on Chrome is kind of breaking, so I can't load any more questions. Of course, if you all think of any that I haven't covered, that you basically wanted to know in some previous videos, feel free to drop the question in these comments. I'll go through all of them just like I always do, and respond to whatever I can. Either way, thanks for watching the video, and I will see you all next time.